Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to share my favorite mechanism in the new expansion for Fantastic Factories, the Manufactions expansion. This expansion basically just adds two things. It adds a new resource and cards that play off that resource, and it adds asymmetric abilities, asymmetric starting resources and asymmetric ongoing abilities. I have not played with the ongoing abilities. I just played with two people who were new to Fantastic Factories, and we added in the expansion cards and the new resource. This new resource is vitamins. And it's very basic. All this resource does is it lets you manipulate some of the dice that you rolled, or one specific die that you rolled, by plus or minus one. The whole thing in Rolling Realms is that you are rolling dice and then using those dice on cards and on your player mat to gain more resources and eventually gain points. And also to building cards, which are often worth points. And so being able to manipulate dice to get the exact dice you want is really, really helpful. And I love how simple this mechanism, this resource is to add to Fantastic Factories. And that's kind of the main focus of what I want to talk about today. The simplicity of adding this resource. It's intuitive, it's streamlined, it's super easy to add, which makes it welcoming for new players. So I never have to take all the expansion cards out of Fantastic Factories because they're so easy to introduce those cards and this new resource to new players. And the other aspect of it is in a resource conversion game, adding a single other resource can significantly expand the number of cards available to the game, which I thought was brilliant. So one example here is the medical school. So in the medical school, it says that vitamins can also be used to change the value of an unplaced die by 2 instead of 1. So it's an ongoing ability. And also, once per turn, you can convert a steel to a vitamin. So this is what Fantastic Factories is all about. It's rarely about these ongoing abilities. More so, it's about these resource conversions. And just by adding that single resource, you add a ton of different cards that can convert in different ways. I thought this was brilliant. I mean, that's it. That's the whole mechanism. But I love that they built the expansion around this single other resource that adds so much more variability to the game in terms of cards. There's a big stack of cards that came with the game. And in general, I like dice mitigation. I don't need a ton of it in games. In fact, I like the choice to go after it or not, because sometimes I like to just roll the dice and maximize what I get and optimize what I get as a result. But I like the option in this game that if I want to go after vitamins, if I want to go after dice mitigation, I can. And this expansion allows for that. So yeah, that's my favorite element in this expansion. I'd love to hear your thoughts of other game expansions that add a single twist, a single small twist that doesn't make the game any more complex. You can still introduce it to new players just as easily as the core game, but it adds a ton of variability and new cards, new elements to the base game itself. And I think the Manufactions expansion of Fantastic Factories does that. Thanks.